Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Tyler from House of Cards TCG, and today I thought I'd bring you a little bit of a different video. We created a poll yesterday, and I want to appreciate everybody that took the time to vote. So we noticed that a lot of people enjoy our live duels with commentary, deck profiles, and market talk, as well as tips to becoming a better duelist. So today, I'm going to bring you a video with the new format shaking out, and with the Brave engine and the PK being top tier, Virtual World coming back into the mix, I want to show you some rulings that I think that you should know to make sure that you can win more games at your locals and top tier events. Because without knowing these things, it could actually cost you your match. And so I want to be able to help you become a better duelist. And with this, I'm going to show you some different rulings that you should know when you go into this new format.
House of Cards
TCG. All right, getting started. The first thing I want to explain to you is, obviously we know the Brave engine is coming in, right? So if I activate I still want to call this card Armisia, right? So if I activate this card, it's going to bring out a token. Then I'm able to search out the Fateful Adventurer. So there's things that you need to know about this card right here, Fateful Adventurer. I'm actually going to bring it into the middle so it's more centered, right? So this card, being a continuous spell, it has to be on the field in order to resolve. And what I mean by that is, I know a lot of people know this, but you have an opportunity to use some different cards, destruction cards, right? This is, for example, activate Fateful Adventurer to search for like Griffin or whatever, or even just search for the Draco back. You can Ghost Ogre this, or you can chain Twin Twisters, and that's going to destroy this card, and it actually won't resolve. So that's just the interaction that you should know. If you've seen people saying that they're talking about main deck and triple ogres, that is why they're talking about main deck and the ogres, is because of cards like this, and it hits other cards in the format. But most importantly, it's for the Fateful Adventurer. So if you can actually destroy this card, and if you destroy it in a higher chain link, it won't resolve. Now, another example that I want to show you is that, say I have Griffin in hand. Griffin is an interesting card, by the way. I want to just point something out to you. So if you haven't read Griffin, the effect to summon is actually a quick effect. What I mean by that is, if I control no monsters, or if all I control is an adventurer token. Let me just confirm that ruling. Yep. If you control no monsters or control an adventurer token. So all you have to do is control no monsters or control an adventurer token. Not only or control one, just an adventurer token. Let's say I have DPE and I have adventurer token, right? And my opponent goes to destroy my token. I can actually chain Griffin to actually summon to the effect of that, right? So all I have to do is control adventurer token or no monsters at all. And the effect to summon Griffin is a quick effect that you can activate to then summon. So that is something that I wanted to point out with Griffin, is that you can actually chain to summon it. The next thing I want to bring up to you is, let's say I have DPE or I have Ghost Ogre, right? Let's say I have one of these two cards, and my opponent activates the effect of Griffin, and that is, Griffin's effect is an Omni Negate, basically. But what you need to know about Griffin is that Griffin says it has to shuffle itself back into the deck. What does that mean? So if I activate, let's say, Twin Twister, you chain Griffin to negate. I can then chain Ghost Ogre or DPE or anything like that to destroy Griffin, and Griffin will not negate because it has to shuffle itself back into the deck in order to activate the effect to negate. So those are some Brave engine rulings that you should know to make sure that you understand that going forward into the format. So up next, we are going to go over some different things like Chuchi, for example. And what I want to do with Chuchi is, for example, let's say I have Shinshin, right? I have Shinshin up on the field, and Chuchi's just here for another example. My opponent activates DPE. I have Shinshin. I chain Chuchi to pop DPE. When DPE goes, it's not going to go to the grave because it's under Shinshin, and Shinshin banishes anything that leaves the field. So when DPE gets banished, okay, I want you to know this, you can still activate the effect of DPE, and that effect is then going to be able to allow you to special summon back your Dasher or Celestial from the graveyard. Yes, so DPE says when it is destroyed by battle or card effect, it can activate the effect. It does not matter if it goes to the graveyard or if it's banished. All it says is it special summons from the graveyard. So if this gets battled over by Shinshin, let's just say hypothetically, I have Shinshin, this goes into my opponent's banished field, right? They can still activate the effect of DPE to special summon back from the grave. Now you're probably thinking, why would you do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons why. You activate the effect of DPE to special summon back out. You can then still standby phase activate Dasher in your graveyard to special summon on your draw phase. Sorry, draw phase, not standby. Then on standby, you can bring back out Dasher. You can link off or synchro off that Dasher and still activate Celestial and Grave all in the same turn to still draw 2. So you want to make sure you know that you can still activate DPE even when it's banished. All it says is it has to be destroyed by battle or card effect. Next ruling that I wanted to bring up to you. This goes back to the Brave engine. I want to make sure that everybody knows this. If I have Griffin, I have a token, and I have Shinshin on the field, my opponent decides to evenly match me. Let's say that Griffin's negated. Griffin's kind of a bad example because let's just say Griffin is negated. So he can't use the effect to omni-negate, obviously. When it comes down to it and you have to put yourself down to one card, you're going to have to use your Griffin and your Shinshin and banish those and leave yourself with the token under evenly matched. The reason why is because you cannot banish the token. So because of that, you have to leave the token up on your field and you are forced to banish the rest of your cards. So just want to make sure that you guys understand that, especially because tokens are becoming a lot more popular, especially with Sword Soul. You should know that because if you evenly them and they have a token up, they have to leave the token. So it's something to just really make sure that you understand with the token. Next up is I want to bring up something that you should know, which is obviously skill drain. We know that skill drain can become more popular. So I want to use the example is, let's say we have Zeus, or actually, you know what's might be a really good example to use would be Baron, even because Baron has an effect, right? So what are we gonna do with skill drain? So if you read skill drain, now that it's at 3, you should know that you can still activate effects, as well as the difference between Imperial Order and skill drain is Imperial Order negated where they activated versus skill drain only negates on the field. So let's say that my opponent brings out a Baron or a Zeus, it does not matter, right? And they activate the effect of Baron to pop targeting skill drain. Okay, so you're probably thinking they can't do that. Well, yeah, skill drain says that you can still activate effects. It says it right here in the text, but they can still be activated. So it doesn't matter. You can even use the Zeus effect, right? So we're gonna use Zeus effect, activate, right? I guess the proper would be like this, and then my opponent had skill drain, so it would look like this. All right, so I use Baron's effect targeting skill drain, or I use Zeus's effect just to wipe the whole board, right? So skill drain is going to negate that. It's not going to resolve. But what I can do is I can chain Chuchi, pop Baron. Now when the chain link resolves, Baron gets popped. It's no longer on the field. Baron's effect to pop will resolve, and that will resolve in skill drain being popped. So you should know and you should understand that you can still activate effects under skill drain. And as long as you have a way to out the card, you can still use cards like Zeus and Baron to out skill drain as long as you have a way to pop them like Chuchi or get them off the field, because skill drain only negates on the field. Now, last thing that I wanted to go over with you, because this one actually cost me a game. Yes, that's how big this is, right? We're going to use Cherubini, for example. And my opponent had DPE sitting right here. Now you're probably thinking, oh yeah, this is obvious, right? Cherubini sitting for cost. No, look, here's what I want to show you. He activates DPE effect, pops a card on my field. I am like, well, you need to resolve, right? Wrong. Cherubini's arrows protect anything being destroyed by card effect. And Cherubini says, let's just make sure that you know this, because it could come up, and it could. Monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects. Period. So you can have a DPE sitting right here with Cherubini in a simplified game state, and you can win a lot of games because your DPE will not be destroyed and you can just keep poking and destroying cards. As long as Cherubini points to it, it protects all cards, not just your opponent's card effects. So little things that you should know that I wanted to make sure to help you become a better duelist. And if there's any questions or comments, put it down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. And this has been Tyler with House of Cards TCG, signing out.